Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. For today's valued viewer requested question we've got from Knighton 8 hours ago on the YouTube video suggestion. F-15 pilot did Mach 1.8 with 8 missiles and 3 tanks on. Sounds suspicious. Can you replicate? Listen at here. 1 hour, 1 hour. Okay, we've got a fighter pilot podcast.
It's fast up high.
How about you, Stretch?
1.8 Mach, 8 missiles, 3 bags.
Wow.
I oversped the tank.
No. That's
I'm sure
amazing.
you're
You got
very
fast.
1.8, right? 1.5 is the limit on the tank.
How'd you get that fast?
Just locked my left hand. It was 220 motors, and I was coming back from a combat mission. I go, I'm going to see how fast we can go.
So the claim was Mach 1.8 with 8 missiles and 3 bags. And we're not going to do a, is this actually possible in real life? Because I don't have a real F-15. I'm not a real F-15 pilot, so I've got no way of knowing. But what we can do is at least, is this modeled in DCS and is it possible? And we can talk about it kind of virtually from that sense. Personally, it's massive red flag. I mean, I'll bring the stream in here. Stream, what do you think? For me, massive red flag here. Yes, I'm aware that it's overspeeding the tanks and stuff like that, but surely it's not possible. I mean, the top speed of an aircraft is all about the aerodynamics. Yes, you need powerful engines, but it's all about the aerodynamics. With 8 missiles and 3 bags, you've got no aerodynamics, right? It's just surely nowhere. Absolute big bag of cock, says Durham. Exactly what I thought. Excuse Durham's language, but he is northern. I think it can be done. Ninja says yes. How interesting. So this is the plan. It's turned out to be a little more difficult to test than we thought, but we've got the best case scenario we think we can do. We've got an F-15. It's at 50,000 feet, 800 knots. It's configured with what we consider the cleanest, more or less cleanest, realistic 8 missile scenario. We've got 6 slick AIM-120s with 2 sidewinders, 3 tanks. Now the tanks are full. His tanks would have been empty, but ours are full. So the best way we can do this is to start and use the fuel in these tanks to get as high and as fast as we possibly can. He wouldn't have had that advantage, but we really want to prove that this is possible. So we're going to get as high as we can, fast as we can with the fuel in these tanks. When the fuel in these tanks runs dry, when we've got as much mechanical energy as we possibly can, that's KE plus PE, then we'll switch over to our internal fuel, which will be 40% internal fuel, which we consider very generous of what he would have had. Then we're going to put a 5-degree dive and see how fast we can get with the drag of all of that lot, but the bag's empty and a low internal fuel of 40%, and see if we can get to local Mach 1.8. I think it's the best way we can do it with what we've got. So let's go and give it a go. And 5,500 stop. So what I've done there is I've got as much altitude and speed as I can in the bird, which is really hard. I mean, this is really draggy stuff we're looking at here. And what we've done is we've burnt the fuel off that we're in the tanks. All we're left with now is exactly 5,500 pounds. That is 40% of the Eagle's internal fuel. That's being generous to Spiderman. Now what we're going to do is put ourselves in a 5-degree dive, full afterburner, with this drag index and see what's possible. And this would give us the best possible virtual speed. So the only way to improve on this would be to have infinite fuel on, but that is pointless because Spider-Man wouldn't have had infinite fuel. So stand by. Check the engines are ramped up, and they are. Our local Mach is going to be there, currently 1.15. So we are supersonic. To be honest, I don't think we're going to get above 1.2 if we're lucky, but I have a nasty tendency, as you all know, to be wrong. About to hit 1.3. Hit and exceeding 1.4, only 0.4 Mach to go in best case scenario. If you're watching this thinking, there's only a silly game, well, technically it is a game or a simulator, but it's regarded as pretty much the best one out there, so it's as close as we're going to get, other than having the actual, pilot flight sim that they use for training. 1.5 and exceeding 1.5, this is actually quite amazing. Angel's 37 now. Punching for 1.6, Mach 1.6, and in cons, got 3,700 pounds of fuel left, struggling to get to 1.7 now. I think we've hit our Vmax. Yeah, we're no longer going up, slightly going down.
Bingo fuel.
And we're about to run out of fuel, so we're starting to go down now. So in the simulator, with 3 bags which are empty, which he would almost certainly have, relatively 6 slick AMRAAMs and 2 sidewinders, with is very soon going to be on fumes. We've managed to get 1.68, so be generous on 1.68, which is Mach 0.12 slower than Spiderman claims. Is the simulation accurate? Don't know, but one thing that's for sure, that is that goes a lot faster than I thought it would. I would have really thought that would top out, even in a dive, at 1.2, 1.3. Anything you guys want to add to that? We're down at Angel's 30 now, so the air's getting too thick now. We can't go fast in that kind of air. Okay, the boys have talked me into it. We're going to go for a 10-degree dive. I don't think it will get any faster. We're just on slightly past there, 3,350. That's near enough between friends. The guys have convinced me to go down steeper. Now, there's a bit of a fable here. People tend to think that if you want this plane to go really fast, send it straight nose down. That's simply not how an aeroplane works. You will not get the top speed of an aeroplane by going straight down. I know it seems counterintuitive. The reason is you simply don't get the burn time, you don't get the time to convert the chemical energy of the fuel into kinetic energy of the plane if you do that, because you get down so quickly, you haven't converted much energy, and by the time you reach 30,000 feet, the air's so thick you can't go fast anyway. Below 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet, you just can't go fast in an aeroplane. It's simple as that. So what I've found, and I've done so many of these tests now, about 5 degrees is usually optimal depending on configuration, but the guys want 10 degrees. So we're going to try 10 degrees. So full power down we go. Before we get fast enough. Just look to see the Mach meter at the bottom. Down to 37,000, 1.6. Does anyone remember what we got to last time? I've actually forgotten. Okay, we think, yeah, right, so we think it was 1.7. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even get that fast this time at 10 degrees, so stand by. And that's literally my theory in action there, guys. You can see 10 degrees, you'd think, oh, it's going down steeper, it should get faster. We haven't got the chemical burn time. This time we've only got 1.65, and the guys say it was 1.68 last time. So you can see what I mean. And we could try, for instance, like 2 degrees, but what you're going to find if you do that, you're just going to run out of fuel. So 5 degrees, like I said, with almost all airframes, just tends to be optimal. I don't think we're going to improve on that, bar a few fractions of a Mach, and it's just not worth spending all day doing that. So I'm going to come to the same conclusion that no, we can't get Spider-Man's Mach 1.8 in what I consider optimal conditions, but being realistic. By the way, these are ISA testing conditions today, if you want to know what the testing Q&H is. But it certainly does go a lot faster than I thought. I'm going to end it there. I hope that was useful, guys, and see you later.